Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WD Broadcasting Network. Tonight we are at the Southern National Motorsports Park. One final time this season with the Trackmaster Sim Series. We've had 5 action-packed races so far, with 4 different winners this season. Let's see if we can get a different winner here tonight, but 200 laps on tap. Look at the schedule coming into this evening. They have 1 set of tires in the pits, as you can see there, so there is a little bit of strategy mixed into tonight's 200 lapper, but gonna be a fun race. Trackmaster Sim Series all season long. We have been right here at the Southern National Motorsports Park, and the action has not disappointed. Lots of side-by-side battles, lots of memorable moments as well. So hopefully we can cap off tonight with another thrilling race. Southern National is a great track for these other stocks. Like I said, we have seen it week in and week out. As these drivers are finishing up practice, it is an open setup, so they do have the opportunity to make changes on the car, make adjustments here in these final moments of practice, where they qualify, and ultimately line up for 200 laps here tonight. We have 15 or 16 cars racing with us here tonight. Midfield competitors. We've got a really close battle for the points. Brandon Elvis just 16 points back from Jake Sylvia. Really, that could go to the benefit of Elvis if he has a good night and there's some misfortune for Sylvia in the 118. Look at the speed charts on your left. You can see they're both sitting inside the top 10. Elvis in the 6th spot, Sylvia in the 8th position. Practice times as they go. Kyle Terzak in the 015. We usually see him on Tuesday nights with the Impact Super Series. He's making some laps. He's not racing tonight, I don't believe. He's doing some laps in practice. Obviously, has a lot of speed. 2nd place right there, Aiden Millette, 09. He has had speed all season long. He's got 1 victory this season. It was in week 4, 150 lapper. That was the last race that we had to come down pit road. I guess that was not the last race we came down pit road. It was the longest race without tires. So we keep the car underneath them. Not what it mattered. Last race we got tires was race 3, 171 lap event there. Went into overtime. We ended up doing 175, but Jake Sylvia went to victory lane in that one. So now it is time to qualify for the final time this season. You want to set yourself up for a good spot in the invert. The invert's a 1 to 10. But really, if you just put yourself into a good position in the top 10, start your night off right. Hayden Farmer, the first driver to pits. Late model stocks. Oftentimes, I think the better lap is lap number 2. Farmer going to try to get the best of both laps here as he comes out of 4. First lap time at 14.119. Quickest as of yet. See what Sylvia can do on lap number 2. He's a 1-2-5. As Landon Farmer holds that top spot here. Going on, Adam Fulford in the 71, making his laps. John Lineagers to the top of Brandon Elvis goes to the top as well. A little bit quicker than John Lyday's lap. Other driver out here, the 15 machine representing some fresh cars this week. That is Brandon Atkinson in the Postal Performance car. See what Atkinson can do his second lap. Didn't have the best first lap. We'll see what he can do across the stripe. He'll go 10th quick in the 15. Kyle Adams in the 24 jumps up to the 4th position. Chris Smith back in action. Smith has one start this season. See what he can do. A little bit blowout of 4 kind of backed it down right there. He'll stay with his first lap time. The 14.141, that'll put him 10th quick. As it looks like we've got 15 cars that have taken a time. Dustin Smith, the only other driver that has not taken time, along with Kyle Terzak, but like I mentioned earlier on, Terzak not racing here tonight. It looks like Aiden Millette will be your fast qualifier as of right now. A 14.040. Looks like gonna be time to go. That was all qualifying had. Let's look at the results here before they do the roll for the invert. Up on the screen, Aiden Millette fastest. Try to jump in before we miss the draw for the invert. There we go. The top 10 cars in the invert here. We'll see which one will pull. They do a duck race for the invert. I've shown it a couple of times on screen. Right now my overlay is not cooperating with me to show it for you guys. They do a duck race for the invert. I think it's actually a pretty cool way of doing things, and they don't know beforehand. A lot of times, the ducks quacking in the background. A lot of times these drivers know the invert before the race, so this really mixes things up. Because it looks like the winner is going to be a 9. The invert will be a 9 here tonight, and that will put Justin Coleman on the pole here this evening. Justin Coleman went to victory lane last week in the Track System Series. Led 56 laps en route to his victory. Brandon Elvis was close there at the end, but just did not quite have what it was going to take. So Coleman going to be on the pole. He'll roll off next to Adam Fulford Jr. Jake Sylvia in the 118 points leader coming into this evening. Off from the 3rd spot. Brandon Elvis going to roll off 8th, so he's going to have a big gap to make up, but there's a long 200 lap race ahead of him. He's going to have plenty of time to get to the front. It looks like the warm-up is finishing up. We'll take one final look at Southern National. Track temp Kind of moderate tonight, 84 degrees. Not too hot, not too cold. Good weather for the final race of the season. It should put on some great racing as we dip later into the evening stage. It looks like we are ready to roll for the final time this season. We'll look at the starting grid. Remember, we do have an invert of 9, so Justin Coleman in the 14 machine going to be rolling off from the pole, last week's winner. He will start alongside his ECR teammate, Adam Fulford Jr. in the 171. Jake Sylvia in the 118, going to roll off from the 3rd spot here this evening. He'll start alongside the 026 of Landon Farmer. Chris Shepard in the 19, going to roll off from the 5th spot. It is outside. Starting 6th is going to be Kyle Adams in the 24. Starting in the 7th spot, it's going to be John Lyday in the 22 machine. Then Brandon Elvis in the 54. The guy chasing down Jake Sylvia in the points. He'll roll off 8th. Your fast qualifier, Aiden Millette, going to roll off from the 9th spot. The rest of the field on back going to look normal through the starting grid. It'll be Chris Smith starting from the 10th position in the 80 machine. Then Hudson Geiger in the 36 is going to start from the 11th spot. Brandon Atkinson in the number 15 going to start 12th. You'll have Brad Carpenter and Frank Barbary to his rear bumper. Then Thomas Dean going to round out our 15-car starting field. Field ready to roll. They're going to have to reassemble once the pace car pulls away. But after that, they're going to have 2 pace laps, and then we're going to be green for 200 laps. This is a long race. They do have a set of tires, and we do have a halfway break. We'll have to keep an eye on what the strategy looks like there. With the halfway break, it is likely that a lot of these drivers are going to try to take tires around the same time. In the 54. Qualified second here tonight. I don't believe there's any qualifying points rewarded. Yeah, no points for qualifying or heat races. Obviously no heats tonight, but no extra points for qualifying up front for Elvis, which is part of the gamble that you take. Obviously, you don't want to try and play the invert because then sometimes you do end up missing it, but Elvis is going to start a little bit deeper in tonight's field. And we'll see that 54 at the front at some point tonight. On the pole, last week's winner, Justin Coleman, going to try to make it 2 in a row to round out this season. That would be pretty badass. We'll see what happens. 15. Ready to roll alongside his teammate Adam Fulford Jr. Jake Sylvia, Landon Farmer in row number 2. Will get the 1 to go signal. It is time to go racing for the final time this season. Folks, if you got a pick in this race, put it down in the chat below. Let me know who you're cheering for. On into the laps here at Southern National. Because once we drop that green, things are going to be intense. not going to have a moment to catch your breath for quite some time. These cars are going to be on the show. Space car lights are off, drops down the road for the final time. And for the final time this season, we are green flag racing the Motorsports Park in the Track Master Sim Series. Down the back straightaway they go. Justin taking the lead the first couple of years. Sylvia looking to the inside. Points leader trying to make headway early as the 71 gets a little sideways off before 8 seconds got away. Fast qualifying for the lap west of the inside of John Lyday and already up inside the knows that it's a 2-lap race, but at the same time, we've got that halfway break that's going to be 2 100-lap races. Looks to front quickly. The lap to the inside. So doesn't want to battle too hard, put any extra heat in those tires. He kind of backs off there, gets back in the line. He's leading. He had led the first 5 laps. I think Adam Fulford took a peek to the inside. Fulford riding the inside. Comes in down low underneath. When things are all said and done. 54 of Elvis is basically going to have to win the race, and there's a little contact there up off the corner. The 118 of Sylvia up the racetrack. I think there was just a little bit of contact between the two, and Sylvia to the inside. Bends down to the bottom. Caution flag flies. And the 118 of Jake Sylvia shot back up the racetrack, or shot back down the racetrack, trying to get underneath. I think that was John Lyday. May have just clipped himself down into the inside wall. We're going to watch what happened. We're going to watch that pass one more time as well. This is going down to the lap before. We see the 54 get down to the inside. Just the slightest bit of contact right there. It's on the outside lane. It looked like he just tried to get back down underneath and just misjudged the gap. Smashed the wall. Tough break for the points leader. He's going to have a lot of time to get damage fixed on that car, but you can see the right front fender pushed in. The nose piece damaged as well. Going to affect the handling of this race car over the long run. It's going to want to tighten up if you damage that right front. Still a lot of time left, so you can try to bandage it up and make his way to the finish. Interesting way to start the season finale for your points leader coming in. Fields doubled back up. Justin Coleman, Aid Millette behind the iRacing.com pace car. And we're going to send him back green flag racing here 15 laps in. 16 laps in there as Justin Coleman gets a good jump from that outside lane. And here comes Brandon Elvis in the 54. Trying to get to the outside of Aiden Millette. He actually tucks back in line right there. Didn't quite have the run. I think he knew that and wanted to be patient here. He's got a lot of time to try to get up to the front. As now Aiden Millette dives to the inside. Battle for the race lead. Millette down low. Coleman up top. They're battling for the 5th spot back behind him. That's Chris Shepard and Landon Farmer. Millette on the bottom. It's tough to get a run off the bottom, off the corner. You can dive into the corner, but keeping that car pinned up off is a little bit difficult. Millette does get the job done right there. Justin Coleman going to fall back into the 2nd spot. In front of his teammate here, 21 laps in when they get back across the line. There's Landon Farmer in the 26 on the outside of Chris Shepard. Shepard up into the 5th spot. Hudson Geiger to the inside of Kyle Adams. Adams, I don't think, is dealing with any nose damage after that incident with Sylvia. Looks like the 24 car clean. Like I said, looks perfectly fine. Currently running in the 9th position. Running this race in the 3rd spot. To the 14 of Justin Coleman. The gap is 6 tenths of a second. Got it for that time. Coleman's got a little bit of pressure from his teammate though, Brandon Elvis. 54 starting to get closer to the back bumper. Last time around, Elvis just a little bit quicker. Everybody very close on times, all around the 14.7. These drivers just have to be so consistent every lap. All stops are very rhythm-based. If you break that rhythm a little bit, it's tough to get back into your rhythm. It's now Justin Coleman starts to slip up a little bit right in front of his teammate. You see struggling to hold the bottom on the exit of the corner, and that's where Elvis is making up his time. Here comes Elvis to the inside, Coleman up in the wall a little bit there. Elvis in the 54 gonna glide by and take the 2nd spot away. Oh, caution flag is out. Kyle Adams in the 24 goes around. Tough break. I don't see any damage on that car. Maybe a little bit on the left side. Yeah, definitely some damage on the left side door and the left rear. Let's take a look at what happened. Hudson Geiger battling, and you see contact off the corner. And it looked like the 24 may have came down on the straightaway, but it also looked like the 36 came back up. So I don't know what exactly happened there. Definitely some contact between the two of them. Watch from the drone camera here. You see the 36 flips him on the exit. And it looked like the 24, I think, just came down the track. Trying to get clear, but the 36 was still right there. Around he went down into turn number 1. That'll put us under caution for the second time here tonight. We've still got all 15 cars on the lead lap. But Aiden Millett's lead that he had over Brandon Elvis is going to be gone. Elvis going to line up on the outside lane. Race leader in the 9. Going to choose the bottom. He'll have 3 ECR cars right on his tail. Exiting turn number 4. We'll see what happens. And keeping an eye on that 19 of Chris Shepard too. He's pretty quick here in the beginning of this race. We'll see what happens. Green flag is back out. 38 laps in. Returns 1 and 2. 9 of Aiden Millette able to clear Brandon Elvis. Justin Colleen and Adam Fulford battle back behind him for the 3rd spot. Out front, 9 Machine. Back to the smooth sailing he had. He's going to try to open that gap back up. Side of Landon Farmer. For the 6th position, here comes Brandon Atkinson in the 15. I haven't talked about him much this race. He's starting to work his way towards the front. Landon Farmer still on the outside lane. Not quite letting John Lyday get up and clear just yet. Looks like he is going to be able to that time. It's very tough to complete the pass here at Southern National. You can dive underneath somebody, but completing that pass and getting clear is very difficult, especially when everybody's all grouped up like this on the restart. That's why you often see the advantage going to the outside lane. Still holds about a 3-car length advantage over Brandon Elvis. Coleman sitting in the 3rd spot. Adam Fulford has got Hornets Nest back behind him. He's sitting in the 4th spot, but he's got Chris Shepard, John Lyday, and Landon Farmer all right there ready to pounce. You see Shepard starting to put a little bit of pressure on in the 19 Machine. John Lyday in the 22 looking to the outside of Chris Shepard for 51 laps in. Aiden Millette still holding the race lead over Brandon Elvis, and a lot of these guys right now is trying to save tires for the end of the race. You know you're going to get a set of tires. Oh, there's contact right there. Maybe not everybody trying to save tires. Chris Shepard looked to the inside of Adam Fulford right there. There was a little bit of contact. That's actually going to open up the door for John Lyday in the 22. Lyday on the outside lane. will get that run up off. John Lyday up into the top 5, going to try to take the 4th spot away from Adam Fulford. And that 22 has found something up on the outside lane. You can see Landon Farmer right there behind him, following the 22 up to the 2nd groove. We've seen this track move up to the top before. And we may be starting to see it right now. Underneath Chris Shepard, trying to make that pass on the bottom. It's tough to make a pass on the bottom later in the run as there's a little contact there. Shepard goes up the racetrack. Have broken ahead of Justin Coleman by about a second. Laps up on the board. 9 Machine continues to hold the advantage over Brandon Elvis. Justin Coleman starting to get caught by John Lyday here. That 22 Machine has got some speed. He's way up in that 2nd groove. And look at the run that he's getting down the straightaway. You can see Coleman trying to move up to counteract that a little bit. 22 of Lyday definitely finding something up in that 2nd groove at this point in the race. Very similar from Aiden Millette and Brandon Elvis, but those two definitely the fastest cars on the racetrack at this point. One lap Millette is quicker, 1 lap Elvis is quicker. Not very consistent between the two. Fulford still hanging on to that final spot in the top 5. He's tracking his teammate Justin Coleman down. Here's Landon Farmer to the outside. Wolford shut the door right there. These drivers definitely starting to feel the long green flag run that we're having here. Remember, we do have a halfway break. Here comes Coleman to the inside. Or sorry, Bolford to the inside of Coleman. That is for the 4th spot. We've got John Lyday up the road in front of him. Coleman looks like he's holding off on the outside lane. Definitely been outside advantage here. 71 still peeking back to the bottom. And caution flag flies. Frank Barbary in the 26 machine turned around on the back straightaway. We'll see what happened here. Silvio's to the inside. Just ran out of room down the backstretch. A little bit there. We'll watch one more time. Try and get a view from the drone. Flag back out here. Back, doubled up here. Gonna send them back green. 3rd caution flag. We're about 17 laps from the halfway. Green flag flies. We're back underway. Good jump from Aiden Millette on the bottom side. He's gonna bring John Lyday with him, as he is out about 3 car lengths ahead. We'll see if Brandon Elvis can pull back on the outside lane. It looks like John Lyday going to pull ahead for 2nd. Brandon Elvis going to try to cross over through turns 1 and 2, but the run is strong on the outside for John Lyday. He will take over that 2nd spot, and now we'll try to track down your race leader, Aiden Millette. Shepard to the inside of Landon Farmer. It's for the 6th position. He's got Adam Fulford and Justin Coleman side by side right in front of him. Very multi-groove racetrack here tonight. Everybody moving all over. To the outside of Fulford. Fulford in the 71. Struggling to get that car rotated on the bottom. It's definitely showing. Here as we're about 9 laps shy of the halfway break. Now battle for the second spot. Brandon Elvis back underneath John Lyday. Trying to take that second position away. Lyday committing to that outside lane, though. Not really playing any defense on the bottom. Back behind there's a hornet's nest for that fourth spot on back. Fulford back under Justin Coleman once again. 5 laps to go till the halfway break. Jake Sylvia right there in the 118. He's got a good run. Just shy of the halfway point. Brandon Atkinson underneath Justin Coleman as well, that 14 machine. Losing a little bit of speed here. Just shy of the halfway break. Chris Shepard down underneath Coleman as well. This time by Aiden Millette gets the lap 100 cross flags, halfway in, halfway home. And this time by caution flag not flying. I believe everybody going to drop down to pace speed. Then we will have pit stops on pit road. But during this halfway break, we're going to take a quick step away. Everybody grab a drink, grab a snack, get yourself prepared for the final 100 laps of action. You aren't going to want to miss a thing here on the WD Broadcasting Network. We'll be right back in one moment with the second half of this season finale for the Trackmaster Sim Series. Alrighty, folks, we're back here. The field is lined up on the back straightaway. We're not quite ready to go back racing yet, but everybody getting lined up back where they were. Aiden Millette so far has been the car to beat. He drove to the front, 9th to 2nd those first 10 laps, and you knew that the 9 car was going to have something here. We'll see what the second half brings. A lot of these guys are going to be able to make small adjustments on pit road and maybe change tire pressure, see where their car is at. Looks like the field is going to pull away here. We'll line them back up, get them ready to go. I think we're going to go green next time by. Frank Barbary gets the wave around. We will have all 15 cars back on the lead lap. Aiden going to choose the inside lane here. John Lyday up top. It looks like the 9 machine going to go a little bit later in the restart zone, and we're back racing here. Just past the halfway point, 95 laps to go. These drivers had the opportunity to get tires, come down pit road. It looks like Brandon Elvis going to get clear of John Lyday. He'll have Jake Sylvia to his back bumper. Sylvia on the 118 racing for a points championship here. 3 wide down into 1. Adam Fulford in the 71 machine shoots to the inside. He's going to try to take the 3rd spot away from Jake Sylvia. The 71 had a big head of steam on the bottom and did not want to check up right there. John Lyday kind of got shuffled out to the outside lane, but Fulford up to the 3rd spot. Jake Sylvia going to cross him over here. Fulford defending on the outside lane. Sylvia back to the bottom through turns 1 and 2. Little contact down the back straightaway. These two definitely battling hard for this 3rd spot. Sylvia on the 118 has made contact a couple times down the back. Side of Jake Sylvia. That is for the 4th spot. Sylvia on the 118 may have put a little bit too much heat in his tires, trying to get around Fulford right there. Atkinson, Justin Coleman to the inside. Spot in the 14. Kyle Adams underneath Landon Farmer. Farmer moving back on the outside lane. The front 5 begin to single file out. Things calming down here after that restart. Geiger looking underneath Chris Smith. That is for the 11th spot on the racetrack. Geiger a little bit sideways out of 4. Going to lose some ground there. He will go back to the 14th position. Trying to track down Thomas Dean. Back up front, Chris Shepard closing in on Adam Fulford. Battling right here. That is for the 5th spot. Sylvia got the good jump on the restart. After the restart, has fallen off a little bit, starting to lose some of that speed. Chris Shepard not able to get past Adam Fulford right there. Usually takes a couple attempts to make a pass. Once again looking underneath Justin Coleman. Coleman in the 14 has made that outside lane work, but it looks like the 15 of Atkinson may have a little bit more momentum. It's very hard to complete the passes. Big Sylvia holds off John Lyday. Lyday in the 22 is making that outside lane work. It's hard for him to really start the pass to get around the outside. But once he's able to, that 22 machine is working that outside lane. You can see him looking to the right here of Jake Sylvia. And Coleman continue to battle side by side. And Atkinson has been charging to the bottom, has not been able to complete the pass. I think Coleman's going to slip up a little bit there. Underneath Justin Coleman. It's packed right outside of the top 5. That final spot in the top 5, right behind it, has been a good battle all night. We've seen cars side by side packed up. It's hard for them to complete the passes. It seems like when one gets side by side, they all close up right on the back bumper. Caution flag flies. Kyle Adams around. Brandon Atkinson around. Looked like the 22 of Lyday checked up and got the 14. Didn't get a good look at it right there. I think the 22 of Lyday got into the back bumper of Sylvia, and that checked up and just caused a stack up. You can see the 15, I think, is the first one. And that just causes a big stack up. A lot of drivers had nowhere to go in that. Kyle Adams hard into the wall. Hudson Geiger spun right there in the 36. We'll go on board with Kyle Adams to see what he saw in that one. You can see there was just not much that he could do. You're already committed to the corner and trying to slow down as much as you can, and then they stack up right in front of you. Can't really slow down much more. Especially not quickly. Tough break for everybody down in turn number 3. That is going to re-rack and restack things. Just outside of 50 to go. A couple cars going to have some damage though for sure. Doesn't look like the 15s is too bad, but he is going to come pit side. You can see the nose piece missing on the 36 of Hudson Geiger's car. Down pit road. They're doubled up though on track behind the pace car. Lights are off. We are going green this time. It'll be Aiden Millette and Brandon Elvis double back up here. We will see what happens. Green flag flies. We're back underway. Racing down into turns 1 and 2. Brandon Elvis tries to stay there on the outside lane, but Aiden Millette gonna close the door up top. 58 laps to go this time. Here comes Adam Fulford underneath Chris Shepard looking for third. Shepard gonna use that outside lane to his advantage. Here comes Jake Sylvia to the inside of Adam Fulford, 3 wide. Fulford gonna shut the door, trying to hold off John Lyday on that outside groove. Big Sylvia underneath. Trying to look underneath John Lyday. Doesn't quite have the run. 22 machine wicked sideways up off the floor that time. Good save. Hang on to that one. This time by for Aiden Millette, it will be 50 laps to go. Chris Shepard closing in on the back bumper of Brandon Elvis here. Starting to put some pressure on for that second spot. He's only about a second behind. He's only about a second behind Aiden Millett. With 44 laps to go. The gap's still about 9/10 of a second to your race leader. Brandon Elvis hanging close right there. Battle for the 5th spot back behind him. Be on the bottom. Trying to make that lower lane stick. Comes up the track a little bit. Gets really tight on the exits of the corners, especially when you're battling hard. Each driver trying to squeeze the other down as much as they can. It'll be 40 to go this time by. Laps running out here for Brandon Elvis and Chris Shepard behind Aiden Millett. Dean to the inside of Chris Smith. Red Carpenter going to try to follow as well. It's the final few spots in the top 10 right there. Justin Coleman running in the 10th spot. You can see how spread out this field is getting. I don't know if we'll reach lap traffic. If we do, Aiden Millett could run into some trouble. The gap definitely starting to open up, though, for him in front of Brandon Elvis and Chris Shepard. Heating up for the 5th spot. Don Lyday and Big Sylvia closing in a little bit. Still holding that lead. Brandon Elvis and Chris Shepard are close on lap times. They're all right around the 14.9s. But right now, they're just not gaining enough. They're going to need a caution if they want a shot at it here. comes Chris Shepard to the inside of Brandon Elvis. Side by side. Neither one of those two really gaining an advantage on the other. You can see as they battle, Aiden Millett's lead just gets bigger and bigger. One of these two really going to have to figure out which one wants to go track down the 9 machine. They are running out of time. Millet's 9 machine. Big Sylvia in the 18, 118, trying to work his way up towards the front. Up front, Chris Shepard able to use the lap car of Frank Barbary as a little bit of a pick to clear Brandon Elvis. He will have 20 laps to try to track down Aiden Millett. 20 laps remain in the season finale at Southern National. Big Sylvia to the inside of John Lyday, still not able to complete that pass. He'll have a shot to use Barbary as a pick right here as well. I don't think he's going to catch him in the right spot. Chris Shepard is running just a little bit quicker than your race leader, Aiden Millett, right now, but I don't know if there's going to be enough time at his current pace. Getting up into some lap traffic here. That first car is Kyle Adams in the 24. And there's Hudson Geiger and Brandon Atkinson up in front of him. To go this time, coming back to 11 for Aiden Millett. The gap still over a second. Back behind, Chris Shepard gets around Kyle Adams. With 10 laps to go here. Hudson Geiger, the final car on the lead lap. He's in the 10th spot. The next car for position for Hudson would be Brad Carpenter up in front of him. Laps running out here. This time by coming back to 7 laps to go. Hudson Geiger does a good job getting out of the way of race leader Aiden Millette. I think he's actually going to pull that car pit side and call it a night. The front end off of that race car. Hudson Geiger brought it pit side. And this time around, 6 to go for Aiden Millette. Laps to go. Jake Sylvia in the 4th spot right now, just behind Brandon Elvis. That is the battle for the points championship. It looks like it is in the favor of Jake Sylvia at this moment. We'll have to look at the final standings. But Aiden Millette can almost hit the cruise control button from here. 3 laps to go. Trying to pick up his 2nd victory of the season. He last went to victory lane in the 150 lapper in race number 4. And this time around, popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 laps to go. Two laps to go for Aiden Millette. White flag is out this time around. There was a wreck coming to the white flag, but the caution flag not going to come out. And Aiden Millette going to coast home through turns 3 and 4. For the final time this season, he'll pick up the checkered flag here at the Southern National Motorsports Park. Jake Sylvia gets 3rd across the line. Finish, but Aiden Millette in the number 9 machine picks up the victory. Led a lot of laps at the end of that one to pick up the victory, and Jake Sylvia going to come home as the season 4 champion. We're going to take a quick step away before we grab a word from our top 3 finishers in just one moment here on the WD Broadcasting Network before we wrap things up from Southern National. So we'll be right back in one moment. Alrighty, folks, we are back here on the WD Broadcasting Network. We're going to get ready to grab a word from our top 3 finishers. We will start with our winner here tonight for the second time this season, Aiden Millette, up in the broadcast booth. Winner here tonight, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, well, that was a pretty good race for you. Charged up to the front, and looked like right from the get-go you were going to be the car to beat, and executed what you needed to do perfectly, and ended up picking up your second victory of the season. Had a 1-second advantage there at the line. How do you feel?
I mean, I feel really good. Obviously, I wish we could have been in the points chase, but I messed up and got into an altercation with the other driver. Came back that one race. Obviously, I think we dominated that pretty much. Saved my tires, came back and won. But tonight, I mean, qualified on the pole, got to the lead right away after starting ninth, and just set sail from there. Just tried to keep the tires on it, but tried to manage the gap, and it worked out in our favor. And I can't be happy enough. Honestly, it feels amazing to get another one.
Yeah, it's always good to win in the Trackmaster Sim Series. A very competitive field of cars week in and week out, so it makes it rewarding to win in this field of cars. Final victory of the season, your second of the season. Who do you have to thank for another victory in the Trackmaster Sim Series?
Got to give a big thanks to Rally Music of 47 Speed. He got it dialed again for me, and thanks to you guys for streaming the races. It's pretty cool. We'll go back and watch these, and family and friends can watch it. And big thanks to Christian for putting on the series.
Alrighty, well, final winner of the season, Aiden Millette. One more time, congratulations to you, and hopefully we can see you next season with Trackmaster Sim Series.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, that was your winner here tonight. Now we're going to talk to our second place finisher. Try and grab Chris Shepard up into the broadcast booth. Chris Shepard up into the broadcast booth here this evening. Second place finish in the final race of the season. Tell me about your run.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. We were really good on the long run. Obviously, I was trying to just stay out of trouble for the first half, and try to push it at the end there. But I looked like I was about matching Aiden's times at the end, but I was pretty tight, so I don't know if I really even could have done anything with him, even if I got there. But he was hooked up.
Yeah, it was definitely tough to pass all night long, and you definitely could see it when you got underneath Brandon Elvis. You had spent a lot of time getting underneath him and making that pass. I think if that pass would have happened quicker, or if a caution maybe came out after that, you would have had a better shot getting to Aiden Millette and having a better shot racing him. But still a great run for the final race of this season. I think your first podium finish of this season, if I'm not mistaken. So a good run to cap it off. Was it the longer race? What was it here tonight that played to your liking?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like I'm usually stronger in the longer races, and taking my time early and staying out of trouble, and saving what I had for the end. And yeah, like you said, racing Brandon that long, I appreciate him racing me so clean, but being underneath him for 10 laps or whatever it was, not good for my right front. But we did. But yeah, solid run to finish the season, and I think we wound up pretty good in the points, so I can't complain too much.
Yeah, definitely hard to complain when you cap off the season on a positive note, and like you said, did all right in the points, so nothing to hang your head about there at the end of the season. Who do you have to thank, Chris, for a good run to finish things off with the Trackmaster Sim Series?
Yeah, I just thank my wife and my daughter for letting me do this, and Jimmy, Susan, Tegan, Tommy, and my parents, everybody watched the races, and Jacob Harberts and Black Magic Performance for all the help with the setups.
Alrighty, well, congratulations to you, Chris, on your second place run here tonight, and hopefully we can see you next season with the Trackmaster Sim Series.
Yep, for sure. Thank you, Winston.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, now we're going to talk to our third place finisher here tonight. He got third right across the line. I wasn't even really paying attention to see if he was going to get to Brandon Elvis or not, but he got there, stole the third spot, and he is your champion this season up in the broadcast booth. Jake Sylvia got a copy.
Yes, I do.
Alrighty, well, this evening looked like it was off on the rough note, or on the wrong foot. Maybe you spun down the back straightaway, What flashed through your mind when that happened? What was the initial response? Because you knew you were in the position to win the championship, but to face adversity right off the bat, how did you mentally reset?
Yeah. I mean, I've had, 4 other races of doing the same thing. I've shot myself in the foot every single race we've run. Whether it's qualifying, for some reason, I still can't figure that out after a full season doing it here. And one race on the tour here. But I finally got the invert to go my way, and I caught a net code off of Brandon's right rear, and I just kind of saw red and made a dumb move down the back stretch, just trying to charge back to the inside so I could save, and plowed it off into the fence and knocked the right front in.
Yeah, it's easy to get flustered, especially early in a race, especially high intensity moments. You know, you're going for the championship. It's a guy you're racing. It's very easy to have something like that happen, but to see you recover from that, to rebound back up to the third spot, you were digging there at the end. Had a very good car in those final couple laps. I think you probably could have done something if you had a little bit better track position at the time of that final caution. But still a great run for the 118. You were able to cap off the championship season with 2 victories and a lot of podiums to go alongside. So you got to feel good after a season of success with the Trackmaster Sim Series.
Yeah, I think at the halfway break, I threw a big swing at it. I didn't like the way that the car reacted even after saving tires. I mean, there's obviously the damage aspect of the car, but I just kind of had that feeling that the change I made before the race just wasn't going to be enough. I've battled a wrecking loose car just like everybody else has towards the end of these races, and I knew the 9 would be the one out front, so I threw a swing at it, and he's been the only one that can keep a rear tire on the car, so it worked. I think I probably could have ran with him, but I didn't go into tonight wanting that. I went into tonight just trying to stay alive. Me and Aiden can fight really, really hard, and sometimes that leads to me going the wrong direction. So I already put myself in that hole early on. I wasn't going to do it again. Um, I just tried to drop back and keep Elvis and keep him in sight. I had to deal with Lide a little bit. He's being a little gnat on the outside, but we were able to get by him and run those guys down. I think with a late race yellow, we win the race for sure. But I'm happy with where we're at.
Yeah, definitely nothing to hang your head about there. Third place run, able to cap off the championship. Like you said, definitely have to keep the bigger picture in mind, especially late in the season points racing. It's easy to want to go up front, to want to win the race, and to want to drive the piss out of it. But sometimes you have to realize, hey, I'm in a good spot right now. I don't necessarily need to get anything more. I'm gonna win right here or get the championship right here. And you did a great job of doing that here tonight, and even snuck third away from Brandon there at the line. I wasn't really paying attention to that battle. I looked at it there for a moment, but I didn't think you were quite going to get him, but got him there within the final couple laps. So great run for you here tonight. Who do you have to thank for third place finish and a championship with the Trackmaster Sim Series?
So all of you for coming out every week and giving us a broadcast. Yeah, it's a big difference when you're running for points to have something to look back on and to have people that can watch it live. It means a lot more. No matter sample size or competition, and every championship I've gone for, you still get those nerves. So we all appreciate it as drivers. I got to thank everybody at MRL, everybody that put this on, Christian especially. He's done a great job with this series, and as long as the track is a good one, we'll be back for try to repeat next season.
Alrighty, well, congratulations to you, Jake, on your championship here in the Trackmaster Sim Series and third place finish here tonight. And hopefully we do get to see you back next season, because that was a lot of fun watching you, Aiden, Brandon, everybody up front battle it out all season long. But one more time, congratulations to you. And like I said, hopefully we can see you back in the future.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, that was your race, or sorry, points championship, or points championship, or let me try that one more time, jeez. Points champion, there we go. Jake Sylvia up in the broadcast booth, third place finish here tonight. It was a good run for him. I was a little bit nervous at the beginning of that race when he spun down the back. I saw the damage on the right front, and I said, ooh, that is going to be tough to fight, but luckily he had enough time down pit road where he could get most of it fixed and get the car back up to where it needed to be. And like you saw at the end, he had a lot of speed. So good run for our champion here tonight. Let's look at the results one final time this season. Look where we ended up. Aiden Millette comes home with the victory. Chris Shepard came home second. Jake Sylvia, your points champion, came home third. Brandon Elvis, so close to the podium, came home in the fourth spot. Adam Fulford Jr. comes home fifth. John Lyday sixth. Brad Carpenter seventh. Chris Smith eighth. Kyle Adams ninth. Frank Barbary 10th. Thomas Dean comes home 11th. Brandon Atkinson 12th. Hudson Geiger 13th. Justin Coleman 14th. And Landon Farmer rounds out our field in the 15th spot. So that is going to do it for us here in Season 4 of the Trackmaster Sim Series. I want to thank everybody who tuned in all season long and showed support for these drivers in the chat all season long. It's been a fun season with the Trackmaster Sim Series. Southern National definitely did not disappoint. It was probably my favorite so far. Up for debate, but probably my favorite so far. So I am really looking forward to next season. And until then, we'll see you guys next time on the WD Broadcasting Network. Hit that red subscribe button for more iRacing content. And I'm your host, Winston Deal, signing it off for the night. You guys have a great night. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.